Hi, Kerrie Nygaard here with your weekly tidbit about your brain. I'm going to share with you today the 90-second hack, 90-second brain hack that I use to stop emotional eating, that I use to stop putting food in my face every time I felt bored, every time I was transitioning from one task to another, whether it was going to get my kids from school or moving from doing laundry to making dinner. I always felt like I had to put something in my face, or if I felt lonely, or if I just wanted to feel a relief, I thought I had to put food in my mouth in order to avoid an emotion or to create an emotion. If I was making a decision, I would often go to the pantry or to the fridge and start to look for something to eat to aid me through the discomfort that comes from making a decision. Here's the thing, and this is a quote by Brooke Castillo. We do not have so much an overeating problem as we have an under-feeling problem. We as a whole, as a society, are not very good at knowing what to do with our emotions. In fact, if I asked you right now, what is an emotion? How would you even answer that? Many of you would say it's a feeling. And then I'd say, well, what's a feeling? And some of you would have some ideas, right? Ultimately, and I was in my mid-30s before I learned this, FYI. An emotion or a feeling, I use those words interchangeably, is just a sensation or a vibration in your body, and it's created by a thought. That is it. So think of any emotion that you might have in your day. If it's nervous, what does it mean to feel nervous? You say, well, you might pace around, you might bite your fingernails. And I'm like, that's what it looks like to act out on feeling nervous. But to actually feel nervous, if you were to quiet your mind and bring awareness into your body, it would just be a sensation somewhere through the meridian of your body. Every emotion is just a sensation in your body. It's like an energy or a vibration felt somewhere in your body. That's it. I remember when I first learned this and I tried it, I was in my basement and I was in this little, yellow rental home we were living in with my family at the time. And I was in the basement and I was cleaning and I thought, oh, I should go eat something. And I was like, oh, but I'm not even hungry. I began to have some awareness. Why do I even want to eat? And I was like, oh, I'm feeling something. What is it? And I quieted my brain and I brought awareness into my body. And I was like, what am I feeling? Oh, I'm feeling bored because I was doing some monotonous cleaning and I was feeling bored. And my brain had a really good reason to send me an urge to eat because it was bored and knew if we ate something that the actual sensations of eating would distract us from the discomfort coming from the boredom. And when we eat food, it releases a dopamine response, that feel-good hormone in our brain. And so that was the solution for the boredom to my brain. But now knowing that when emotion was just a sensation in my body, I knew I could actually just choose to feel the feeling rather than eat my feeling. So I remember I paused and I brought awareness into my body because a feeling is just something to be felt. You want to feel a feeling. So I have a way to remember this. It's F-E-E-L, feel. Anytime you have a feeling or an emotion, interchangeably, I use those, you're supposed to feel your feelings. So F, you want to find it. Drop into your body. Where in your body does this particular emotion reside? Where does it live in your body? Everybody will feel each emotion differently. For me, I discovered that I felt boredom right here in my chest, a little bit more to the left than the right, actually. So I felt it in my chest. And what did it feel like? So the second E is to entertain it, meaning to welcome it, to be a good host. We're so used to resisting emotions. Anytime we feel an uncomfortable emotion, we resist it. Not only does our brain avoid discomfort, it avoids pain, and some emotions are somewhat painful, but we're taught also to avoid emotions. Were you ever taught, stop crying? Stop crying, I'll give you something to cry about. Suck it up, right? Cowboy up. We're taught not to feel. We're taught not to feel. And it's not the past generation's problem. They were taught the same thing, that stuff it down. Don't look at your emotions. But the most basic thing about being human, the most human thing about being human is emotions. Everything is all about emotions. The reason you do anything, any action you take, is because of an emotion or because you're seeking to create an emotion. The second E in FEEL is to examine it. So first we want to find where it's located, put a hand wherever you find it. It could be anywhere through here. You can't see me, but I'm down here through your torso. Find where the sensation resides, entertain it, meaning stop resisting it. Make space for it. Hold space to feel that emotion without the shame or judgment of the emotion. And then examine it. What is it like? If I were to describe this to someone else, how would I describe it? Well, I learned that boredom that day felt kind of like a board or a thick piece of cardboard that was upright, kind of just sitting right here. And here's the interesting thing is that as I examined it, I learned that though it was uncomfortable, it wasn't near as bad as my brain was making it seem a few moments earlier. This is what I like to call the Wizard of Oz effect. Remember when Dorothy came to visit the Wizard of Oz and he seemed loud and scary and big and she was afraid until she faced the Wizard of Oz straight on and learned that he was just a man with a microphone behind the screen. Very similar with our emotions. Our brain thinks our emotions are terrible and that they might kill us and we cannot let ourselves feel them fully or they might overtake us. And so we resist them. But here's the thing, the resistance is what makes it so unbearable. The actual emotion is not that big a deal. So I call it the Wizard of Oz effect. I learned that though boredom was uncomfortable, wasn't my favorite, it also wasn't that big a deal either. Like, oh, I can just feel this kind of stiff cardboard-like feeling right here. And here's also what we've learned, and this has been studied, is that the mass majority of emotions last no longer than 90 seconds when you go through the process of really allowing it to be felt. No more than 90 seconds. And not only that, but when you get good at feeling emotions, it's faster than even that. So we find it. That's the first one, F. Then we entertain it, meaning we welcome it. We give space for it. We get rid of the resistance to feeling it. We're a good hostess or a host for it. Then we examine it. We get to know it. Remember, we keep the shame and judgment on the shelf. And then the L in the feel model is to let it be. The moment that we let go of the agenda of wanting to get away from the emotion is the moment that our body processes it and it leaves. Your body knows how to process any emotion. It knows what to do with it. Just like your body knows how to digest the food, your body also knows how to process an emotion. But if you're resisting it, if you're trying to distract yourself from it, if you're trying to eat yourself away from your emotions, then you're never allowing your body to actually just process and let the emotion lift. So my 90-second hack to stop emotional eating is instead of eating every time you feel an emotion, every time you feel stressed, every time you feel worried, every time you feel confused or overwhelmed or frustrated or lonely or bored, any emotion, instead of going to food to solve for it, how about you just commit to spending no more than 90 seconds feeling something a little bit uncomfortable in your body by going through the feel model, FEEL. Find it, entertain it, meaning welcome it, examine it, and then let it be. Allow your body to process it. When you go through this without the resistance and judgment, it takes no more than 90 seconds. And after you get a little bit practiced at it, even faster than that. There are some emotions like grief. Some forms of anxiety can take longer than 90 seconds, but the mass majority of emotions, just your everyday emotions, no more than 90 seconds when you really open yourself up to it. All right, that is the way I stopped emotional eating. Give it a try.